This address is dedicated to two Malvern alumni, one of whom is here today, who is retiring, Mr. Joe Pa Redigan. Joe's a member of the class of 1861. Thank you for all those years, Joe. On a more serious note, the other alumnus is a young man who graduated last year, but was not able to attend this ceremony because he had to get his life together. I am so proud to tell you that our very own wild rover, Chris Bonner, is coming home today. The title of this address is What is Past is Prologue. It comes from Shakespeare's play, The Tempest. It's also engraved on the front of the National Archives building in Washington, D.C., because what has happened in the past is simply the opening of the future. Good morning, Father Provincial, Father Flynn, Mr. Talbot, Board of Trustees, my fellow faculty members, parents, guests, and my fellow graduates of Malvern Prep, class of 2015. A few weeks ago, I received an email from Christian Talbot asking me to come see him the following afternoon between the hours of 12 and 2 for about 5 minutes. He said it actually might take less than 5 minutes, so I said, sure. Well, on my way over to Austin Hall, I'm thinking to myself, what could possibly be so important as to warrant such an unusual and mysterious request? Well, it turns out it was very important, and it was the furthest thing from my mind. Christian said, I have a favor to ask. Would you consider being speaker at graduation? Well, my answer took less than 5 minutes. It actually took less than 5 seconds, and 3 seconds of that I was speechless. How could I say nothing but yes to such a request? What an honor it is to stand here and speak to you. Parker Abate just spoke to you about a dream which started for him and many of you 7 years ago. This opportunity for me to speak to you is also part of that same dream. You see, 40 years ago tomorrow, June 5th, 1975, I walked into our Mother of Good Counsel Chapel with 73 of my classmates, one of whom is Ted Klingus, the father of Matt Klingus in your class. We got our Malvern diplomas that day. This school was on the verge of closure that year, and boy, have we come a far, far way. In fact, you're sitting on right now what used to be a cornfield. You wouldn't believe it if you were here 40 years ago, but here we are. 5 years after that, September of 1980, I walked into the chapel to begin my teaching career at Malvern. And as Parker said, what a roller coaster ride it's been ever since. As the fathers of Nick Algio, Ryan Antel, Pete Cecilski, Mike Schrader, and Magnus Sims can tell you, all of whom were students during my time here. Addressing this gathering to celebrate the class of 2015 finishing up at Malvern is an honor almost beyond belief. And it ties into so many other dreams of so many people who are here today, both in spirit and in person. Parker mentioned that this has been like a roller coaster, and Mr. Algio said that. Mr. Algio also lives this dream every single day. It's been quite a roller coaster this year, hasn't it, Ron? Well, unlike Parker, Mr. Algio never slept through any of my classes. He was one of my students 30 years ago. Now he's my boss. How's that for a roller coaster? And Mr. Wasson. Would you believe I taught Jamie in 7th grade? He never slept through any of my classes. Well, maybe once or twice. Parker shared with us the fact that he went to Jamaica on a mission trip and met children who had nothing but were some of the happiest children he had ever met. I think that most, if not all of you, could say the same thing about your service experience. Brotherhood, permit me to share some of my observations of what I saw your class do on the overseas service trip. You guys that went to South Africa learned that if you shake your hands in the air and say Sawubona, the Zulu people absolutely light up and shout back, Yebo! And they know that you're not a Zulu because your accent gives you away. And I know some of you are thinking, wait a minute, we don't have an accent. If you say Injani to them, it makes their day because that means, how are you? Sawubona means, I see you. It makes all the difference in the world to them. You have acknowledged their presence, their humanity, and you have honored them by learning some words of their language. You demonstrate that you care and respect them enough to visit them in their homeland. The people respond with joy, genuine joy. There's no greater gift. They did give us another gift, and you guys experienced it time and again, the gift of song. Wow, music is such a gift. Just like we heard this morning, I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier. You guys learned that song by listening to it and reading music and playing it on instruments. The Zulu people live it. That's how they learn music. And talk about soul. They sing without instruments. They sing a cappella in 3- and 4-part harmony. It's absolutely magnificent. Talk about the voices of angels. And there was yet another gift they gave us, the gift of dance. Parker mentioned Greece and the performance there and how magnificent it was. I saw Nick Gabriel and Drew Shantz and Charlie Malone up on that stage doing their dancing. You should have seen them in the Valley of 1,000 Hills. Every morning, they and the other guys, we did circle dances with the Zulu. You joined our community and their community in dance, and the Zulu Nation embraced Friar Nation. You held the kids. You carried them on your shoulders. You made them feel like kings and queens. You sat with coloring books with them, and they made you feel 5 years old again. You blew bubbles, made hundreds of sandwiches, and painted murals. You guys lived Caritas by doing these things. You did change their lives, and they changed you. You spent those few precious hours with them, which is not forgotten by either group. You touched the lives of over 500 children in 5 days and made their lives just a little bit better. And you brought clothes, 18 suitcases jam-packed with clothes. The kids at St. Teresa's Orphanage haven't forgotten either. In a tradition that was started several years ago, you guys literally gave them the shirts off your back and the shoes off your feet. They proudly wear Malvern gear given to them over the years by each group at the end of the week. They are so honored and thrilled to be with you guys, playing soccer or doing homework or coloring. And you guys, how hard was it to say goodbye? How many of you wished you could have stayed longer? How many of you wish you could do it again? Across the globe, the connections that all of you made were real. As Parker pointed out, you made them in Jamaica. But you also made them in Costa Rica and Peru. And in fact, you guys in Peru learned how to spell the word obispado. It's in the yearbook. You felt them in the Dominican Republic and in India. You still feel them from New Orleans to the Philippines. That's brotherhood beyond this campus. You see, the veritas of the matter is that you didn't come to Malvern to do all the things you've done, as the song says, and just build a brotherhood here. Luke's gospel says, no one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket. The song says, you want to shine on in the hearts of men. Your real mission is to take these things that you've done and build beyond Warren Avenue. The service experiences are merely a taste, a sample of what can be done, what needs to be done, and what must be done by you. Yeah, don't you put me on the back burner. Look for the opportunities, seek the opportunities, create the opportunities, and guys, when you get the chance to do it, no regrets, go for it. One of my favorite quotes about education comes from Mark Twain, who had only 5 years of schooling before he went out to work as a typesetter. He said, "Never let school interfere with your education." You guys know that this school is more than just learning information or playing on a sports team or putting together a brag sheet or resume about how many clubs you belong to. The heart and soul of this place is community, the root word of which is Latin communitas. It means people coming together in unity, the unitas. That is the heart of Malvern. It has grown in each of you during your time here. Now take it and run. I'll leave you with 2 great quotes, which were used by one of our favorite friars from the class of 2015. You guys chose this classmate as a co-holder of the Fitzpatrick Award, and I can't think of a more deserving recipient, Brian Rollins. Brian used these quotes in the yearbook, and he's a soul soldier of the Friar Nation. The first quote comes from Chief Tecumseh of the Shawnee Nation, who said, "So live your life that the fear of death can never enter your heart. Love your life, perfect your life, beautify your life, make your life long and its purpose in the service of your people." The final quote comes from a graduate of the class of 2006 who is now a coach, my good friend and neighbor, Matt McCormick. Brian quoted Matt. Brian, would you stand up and let it out?
Great day to be a friar.
A great day to be a friar. Good luck. God bless you all. Stay glorious and let your light shine.